Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, 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 all you sexy holes and holes. Welcome to Come With Us podcast. But this isn't our regular podcast. Just heads up. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius here from sexyedschool.com and the teacher for the class Learn to Love Oral and All, a 5-week online class that I do for women, but it's actually all about couples. And so Aaron is here. Thank you so much, because really we just wanted to spend a few minutes and I wanted to give you a sense of what Learn to Love is all about and why people hopefully will sign up, like whether it's good for you or what it does and how it works for couples and relationships, because I see it all the time and it all blurs and I don't know what really sticks out. So Aaron, your wife went through the class with me just a few weeks ago, right? We just finished.
Yeah. What was it? 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
Or so? Yeah.
Got her graduation diploma.
Uh-huh.
Yes, which is, I think is pretty cool. And,
I need to invest in a printer so we can actually print it out. But
yes. Okay. So, and we'll share that here.
I'll go on a rant on printers one other day, but yes.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, but yes.
Okay. So thank you. And frankly, it was Aaron's idea. Thank you so much for suggesting this, because I love teaching and I love talking about sexy stuff, but this marketing and telling people what the class is all about, I'm lost. So can you tell them, what do you think as the husband of a partner going through?
Well, I mean, you've done a couple of these already. You used to do them live and in person for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot. I don't know if I'll say easier. It's more convenient because you're doing these and you have these women and then couples doing this from literally from their house.
Yeah.
Wherever they're comfortable.
Yes.
And it was, a lot of people look at and people have asked before, like friends have asked, what do you do? And I, say, hey, you're a relationship coach. And like,
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, they're like, like a couples therapist. I'm like, no, not therapy, because couples therapy is different than being a relationship coach.
Right.
You don't sit there and diagnose and listen to one side of an argument, listen to another side of an argument, and then go, okay, you're both wrong. Here's what you actually should be. Like, that's what a therapist kind of does.
I don't know.
A therapist is just a giant vent board for people to yell their problems with their significant other at. You more look at the relationship and say, look, I want you to look at your relationship through different eyes. And right now, and that's what you do, is you start every single, and
that's true.
For those listening, it's a 5-week class. The first 4 weeks, the men have no face-to-face involvement. Now, there is involvement outside of the actual classroom, which you call homework,
right? And
which is good,
right? And so, let me tell you. So, the structure of the course, when people enroll, they get access to the 2 classes that are pre-recorded, and they can watch that on demand in their home with their partners in bits and pieces or whatever. Those 2 classes are my oral sex class. So, one is how to blow his mind while loving his body. The other one is the art of orally pleasuring her. So, as soon as they sign up, then they get access to that, and that's on their own time.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the course is that for 5 weeks on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time on Zoom, we get together once a week, and then we have class. And then from class, there's also homework. So you get the video classes. Believe me, there's lots of homework. One woman jumped on. She's like, oh my God, I've practiced 4 times this week. Her husband was so excited. I can't tell you. But there's that homework. And then there's this other, like what we do in class. And in class, then we focus on I said it's the relationship, 101. It's I think the basic tools for relationship that I wish I'd had when I was married, because I didn't know anything.
It is. And it starts out, and it's a lot of especially that first and second week, it's a lot of taking your wife, girlfriend, significant other, and having them, after a while in a relationship, you get into your patterns, you get into the same stories, the same habits, the same routines.
Yeah.
The way you have them go through is the first 2 weeks, it's about looking at the relationship through a new pair of eyes. So it's a lot of, there's questionnaires, there's survey stuff that they have to do on their own and start thinking about, and not only thinking about, hey, what does your husband do that, makes you feel good during the, like, people see that all the time on different blogs and stuff like that. This is a lot more in depth of hey, remember kind of why you decided to pledge your life to this person. Let's go back and reassess and make sure that you remember you decided to do this and you have found somebody that wants to do this with you. You two humans have found something that's very lucky to stay together. Let's instead of falling into the old routines, reset for a second. Take a minute, stand back from a 30,000 foot view and look at your relationship and go, oh yeah. Maybe we haven't been spending as much time together as we should. Maybe we haven't focused and communicated as great as we should lately. Maybe we have gotten way too distracted by, we eat dinner, we turn on the TV, then we talk for a couple minutes, we both play on our phones, and then we go to bed.
Right.
You make these couples look at it and go, oh, if we actually want to, if there's something that we're not happy with in the relationship, whether it be sexual, whether it be communication, whether it be intimacy, any of those things, they look at it and go, oh, yeah, that's what I wanted, but where's the cycle breaking that we're not getting to where we want? Yeah. So it's a very good way for over 5 weeks, looking at your relationship with your significant other and learning and kind of diagnosing what you're doing well, what you're not, and what you need to do to make sure that you both meet what the other's expectations are for the relationship and how you better grow your relationship together, because it's a team effort no matter what.
Right. It has to be.
Like, I don't understand couples that can go, oh, we're completely independent. We just don't really okay, then you've got a roommate. Like, I get it.
Well, it's whatever they want, but right. So, and I think what I liked is that, so I tell people, this isn't a course for people who are really on the brink of divorce. This is not meant for people to just completely heal when everything is broken and shattered. That's not it. This is really for couples who love each other and know that, but are struggling with the fact that love isn't enough, right? Because love is just an emotion.
Yeah.
It's all the actions, and those actions are really freaking hard to do on a regular basis. It's the difference between, yelling at your basketball team, oh, do this and this, and getting out on the court and actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's a whole different game when you're on there. So what did you find? Like, did you learn something? What's your takeaway? What was the best thing that happened for you in your relationship?
I mean, the best thing that happened is that, again, my wife and I mean, we've been together for 12 years now. Yeah. We've been married for just about 8. We had gotten to that point where, we both wanted something more from some part of the relationship that was there early on, and it just was one of those things that fell by the wayside. So we were able to look at what we had and what we wanted, and then look at each other and go, okay, this is where I'm coming from, this is what I want. And then look at the other, okay, I understand that. This is where I'm coming from. This is what I want. And not even like a negotiation thing, but hear what I have to say about these are the needs that I think I want more concentrate, or that I don't think we're concentrating enough on.
Right.
And both sides did that. And we now both communicate a lot better. Mm-hmm. We are more open. Those things that we both wanted, we are now picking up on. And we are now not saying that we're perfect at it, but it's a daily affirmation, like to go through and go, okay, we've talked about that, and we've already slipped once, and we sat there and we looked at it, and she was like, okay, we've been bad about this. You know what? We were doing so great, and then we got distracted for a couple of days because we had a lot of stuff go crazy and go haywire at the house. You know what? We're getting back to what we were doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's always going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It happens exercise. It happens at work. We're plugging along and then we just drop the ball sometimes, and you just have to be able to pick up where you go. So yeah, I really like that. And I think it's funny because people think that, oh, we should just know what the other wants, but it's really hard to just do that based on talking. And I think one of the things, and I'll say I am proud of it, and I hope that it's good, that I feel like, did I give you some practical, like, did I make it easier for you to understand what it is that she wanted and what you wanted?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because that's where I say my logical lawyer brain combines with my romantic. And I think that my goal is to help people really be able to break it down and prioritize and acknowledge what it is they want deep down.
Yeah.
Whether it's hugs or sexy or taking out the trash or the dishes, whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's really great to have that, because it's always good to have somebody diagnose and be a buffer. And couples fight, every single one of them. It would be great if every time you got into a knockdown, drag out, scream, I can't stand you, I'm so angry, fight, I'm turning red in the face, if somebody came in and said, okay, this is what you say, this is what she hears, this is what she says, this is what you hear, and rework all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in real life. Now, the tensions that can build in a marriage or a long-term relationship kind of thing, eventually some of that stuff can create resentment on both sides.
Yeah.
He doesn't hug me as much. He doesn't hold my hand when we're out in public as much. And then that starts to create resentment. She doesn't want sex as much as she did when we first started dating.
Right.
This all of a sudden lets you understand. So it's not that resentment growing. It's hey, instead of me being resentful about it, let me just, this is the way I understand that your mind works now, or this is the way that the female mind works, is the way the male mind works. Let me figure out a way to put it in terms that are not going to be sounding like, God, why don't we ever have sex? What the hell's the matter with you? Or, God, why don't you ever show me that you love me? Well, I took you out to dinner the other night. Well, that's not showing me that you love me. Okay, well, now there's this understanding of we all see love and we all feel love and appreciation and desire in different ways. And it helps break that communication barrier. Yeah. So
And a lot of people have read Gary Chapman's 5 love languages.
Yep.
So, and that's good. So they have this sense of, okay, I like service or I like words. But there's a difference between his love languages and intimacy. Because I say there are people that give me gifts that I am not particularly intimate with, but it's very lovely and I appreciate it. Please feel free to give me gifts. But intimacy is different than the 5 love languages. And I think I hope by breaking down into 5 kinds of intimacy, the physical, emotional, romantic, sexual, and spiritual, then it becomes a way of, okay, now which bucket do we need to fill and which bucket do you need filled versus me? Because we all get filled different ways too. So I like that. And I'm glad that it's worked, because I've seen it with, I don't know, thousands of clients and stuff already. And yet it's still, every time I hear, oh, that helped, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, it's like a brand new shining star going,
and
yes, awesome.
I'm not going to bring up any, I couldn't even remember any of the, because for the final week, like I said, all the couples come together and there's this giant kind of confab where everybody talks and, you get the male perspective of, hey, what you get out of it? Hey, what have you learned? Hey, what do you want? Kind of thing. And then also the guy, we had an open conversation between the guys that were in the class this time. And we all had our own conversation while all the wives sat there and laughed and rolled their eyes for a minute.
Yeah.
And it was great. But I'm not the only one. There were plenty of them, all the other ones, in fact, who went, damn, in 5 weeks, things have changed on a dime. Yay! So, and you could see it. And not only that, but I'm a person who reads people. And you could read that on their actual face, their body language, their expressions, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I'm not going to call out any names because I don't remember any names, but one dude said that, in 5 weeks he'd gotten more blowjobs than what, like the first 10 years of their marriage, because she understood what it meant to him.
Yeah.
And she also, I feel like, I don't know her, but she also seemed like she has that attitude of, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do whatever I do, whether I am changing a tire, whether I'm doing my career, whether I'm raising a child, I'm going to be the best I can at it. And she came off with that kind of attitude that you probably explained this to her. And that's, why men love oral sex so much. And she went, well, goddamn, I'm going to make sure I'm the best he's ever had. And I'm going to make sure I'm the best I can be at it. And good on her.
Exactly. I love that, and one of the things I talk about is rewarding your partner. I think gold stars, we all, no matter how old we are, we want appreciation. We want acknowledgement. We want silly gold stars. And it's just, that can happen. But and I guess also people should know. So some of the couples have been very early on, like one couple was only married for about 1 year. Some of the couples, 35 years they've been married. And still, that's what excites me, is that everybody got excited. Everybody fell in love again with their partner, which is the way it should be in life. And yet, has some tools. And we use things from the Gottmans, who are the relationship experts. And I love their stuff. They're so practical. They're so awesome. But then also combined with specifics, how you can do things sexually to please, as well as just practical. How could you hug your spouse? How just looking them in the eyes and touching their face. There's so many different things. And women, the reason I teach the women for 4 weeks is because we have so many hangups about our own bodies and using our bodies for sexual pleasure. And I think if I was going to sum up the problem I see that couples face that is pretty universal is that men are basically told all their lives, don't express emotion, don't just avoid emotional intimacy pretty much at all costs, except for anger, unless you're in the middle of sexy stuff. Only in the midst of sexy can you go, oh God, yes, I love you so much. You make me feel so good. I love it. I don't want to leave, blah, blah, blah. But women, we're taught the opposite. We're like, oh, get emotional intimacy. That's good. And avoid sexy intimacy unless you're using it as a reward for somebody who's made you feel emotionally intimacy. So that sets couples up for failure. And we have to go through and acknowledge that and recognize that really we all want sexy and emotional and physical and romantic and spiritual intimacy. And it's a question of how we get it. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. So I hope this helps. Is there anything else you'd tell, guys out there? Because again, I know it's not for guys, but women won't sign up and they won't join this stuff if they're afraid their guy's going to laugh at them. If they're afraid their guy isn't going to support them and want to do the stuff with them, they're not going to do it, right? None of us want to be rejected and stuff. So any advice for guys?
I mean, if you're going to bring it up, if it's going to be your idea to bring it up to your lady, do it. Don't be the guy who sees a car at half a tank of gas while you're driving her car to go do something and you fill it up and you go, hey, I fixed that. Don't sign her up for it. Approach her with the topic, talk to her about it, have her listen to this episode with you. Understand that you're not saying, hey, you're doing something wrong that I want to fix. All you're telling her is, look, there's, we're not a perfect couple.
Right.
I know there's a need of yours I'm not meeting. I know there's needs of mine you're not meeting. I think we need to have some type of help to make sure that we start communicating those again, to make sure that we get back to that, what do people call the honeymoon phase?
Yes.
Can't keep your hands off each other, that can't wait to, instead of I sit on the couch and you sit on that chair at the end of the night, hey, we're both like literally just in our underwear sitting on the couch, feeling each other's skin, because that helps. That kind of stuff. So don't be the guy who just goes, hey, I signed you up for this, go do it. Express to her that while she's doing the 4 weeks of the actual in-class stuff, it's honestly something that you're both working on together. There's outside work to get you guys to communicate more, to get you guys to focus more on things that you want. And it's a great thing to help you going forward.
Yeah. Okay. I think
and the extra,
that's awesome.
I mean, every man that wants more sexual intimacy, whether it's blowjobs, whether it's sex, whether it's hand, whatever, it doesn't hurt. Yeah. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
After seeing it, being through it and everything, I don't think there could be one woman in the world who would go through it and come out and go, yeah, no, I'm giving him less sex because of that. That makes no sense in the world.
Thank you. I think that's a good point. And I will say, and then the other thing is that for couples who do need more, if they need individual or couples coaching and stuff, that can be in addition to, it can be instead of, or before or after. So there can always be follow-up, because again, I want people to be happy. I want love to last, and always. So
yeah. And again, any wives, girlfriends, or whatever who are listening to my voice right now, you might sit there and go, oh, I'm a really shy type. I don't like to talk about this stuff with other people. I don't want to be my wife is the very shy type.
Yes.
God forbid I'm doing a freaking podcast about our sex life. But honestly, every single one of those, she had to go into a separate room. She had to shut the door. She had to put on headphones. Like,
yep.
You give specific instructions, because husbands aren't supposed to hear what women can talk about. And it's very weird. Women are able to talk about sexual stuff with each other all the time. And then you get the girl who,
sometimes there are a lot of women who actually don't. So it just depends. But I know your wife was scared. One woman told me she's in her 50s. She said she was so nervous the first day of class. She was like, I was kind of sweating. I didn't know. She was terrified. She's like, 5 minutes in, she's like, I was spilling my guts. I was telling everything. The group was so amazing. And one of the women, when I asked her what was the best part for her, that's what she said was that the best part for her was knowing that she wasn't alone and having other women to share this with.
Yeah.
And I was, oh my God, that's so basic. Here I create this whole curriculum and stuff. But it's all of it. It's that you get to be with, and you're right, even though you're shy. And FYI, there's no nudity, there is no pornography, like nothing. So sometimes I feel like I'm disappointing people with that, but that's not it. And there are religious people, there are, younger people, conservative people, open people, anything and everything. And that's, everybody's welcome. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. And if y'all have questions or anything, please, you can email me, beth@darlingway.com, and let me know. And I'll be doing some Q&As about the class and everything like that. But we're going to launch again. The class will start April 5th. And right now, if you act really quickly, there's VIP special pricing. So go to sexyedschool.com, look for the Learn to Love course, and you'll find it there. But again, we're going to start April 5th. So don't wait too long. We'll go through, and the very last session with partners will be May 3rd, I think Tuesday nights. So, and then I won't offer this again until at least the fall sometime. I'm taking a break for the summer. So this is it. If you want a hot, hot summer, let me help you make it hot, hot, hot. Plus we do some follow-ups afterwards. So, and if anybody enrolls now, like the people who enrolled before can take this course as many times as I offer it in 2022. So you could take it now and then redo it again if I do it in the fall. So, All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate y'all listening and considering. And let me know if there's anything. Beth@darlingway.com. And again, this is Come With Us podcast. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius. And here we are for all the bare naked truth about love, sex, and relationships. Big hugs. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.